already did all the outlines to everything, but now I'm just doing the details and shit. And the little shade on the sock and shit, you can see that shit though. I had this little, I had a stroke back on it, so that the little shadow don't go over the border, the little black line on the border and shit. So when you see that, that's what I'm doing on there. I'm gonna try to talk through this whole thing, but I'm gonna let y'all just watch this shit. Doing the shade on the leg, self-explanatory. And sometimes you kind of just make your own shit, but for the most part, I'm just following what the fuck I see. This part was fucking me up because I was trying to get the color right, but my little thing over here in the bottom where I could change the color, it wouldn't let me just make it lighter or darker. It kept making it purple. You see? I'm like, what the fuck? But then I just skipped it and went to do the main leg, right? Added my little gradient, then all of a sudden the shit was fixed. So now I could just make it a lighter and darker brown without having to change the color and shit. You see? Shit was weird. I know the shit going fast, but hey, this motherfucker's gonna be hella long if it ain't go this fast. Add the little border back on it, and I do the other leg. Gotta get that gradient right on them joints. Making that other side of the gradient match with the other gradient is hard as shit. I ain't gonna lie. It ain't hard, but that shit annoying a little bit. If somebody watching this and you really trying to like learn, y'all can hit me up. But like, I know watching this, you gotta kind of know what you're doing already to follow along. All right, legs and socks done. Now it's time for the shorts. Same process, same exact shit. Boom, boom, boom. And the reason I switch from, I like using the brush, but the reason I switch sometimes is because like the way the edge of them shorts got to be perfect because it's on top of the jersey and shit. So I can't just have it like you know what I'm saying, not being on point. So like I do that with the fucking pin tool. I think that's what that shit called. Yeah, the pin. So like best way I can explain this shit is really just trace the shit you can see, right? And just trust that shit. Like at a time, it's gonna be like, man, this shit looks stupid, but once you put everything together, that shit makes sense. And then I make another copy of the pants and shit because when you go to make a gradient, it go to the last gradient that you did, so the color that you want to be gone. So I just make it like duplicate it, throw it to the side so I can go to it, and then I drop it if I need to. I'm doing the shade so that that white part is like darker too. Just trying to make the shit as real as I can. This shit right here gave me a hard time because I kept clicking the. I should have did another layer, but I just kept clicking what I had on there already, so it was fucking with me. But I finally got it. It was called the anchor. I kept clicking the anchor and shit, so it was joining the shit together. Shorts done. What I do next? On. My bad. It's my first time recording and shit, so I probably was in my phone or some shit right now. All right, I'm back. I do a ball. It's easy just doing the lines on the ball and shit. And then I made another one just so I could do the gradient and then just eye drop it without fucking everything else in it. I need to turn that gradient around. I'm gonna have to turn the one on the ball so it's at the bottom. I don't think I even checked. No, that's right. That's right. That's right. That's how it's supposed to be. And the ball too small, but I'm gonna come back later and make it the right size. I'm doing the orange now. I don't know why I just traced that like that instead of using the pen, but I did. Whatever. Like this is interesting watching this shit myself. Like I ain't never watched myself do this shit. Bro, I swear like that's the same colors on the leg. It didn't look the same. I had to put it down. I'm like, that's the same color. They look hella darker at the top on the arm. I mean, I did that shit on the wrong layer. I had to do it over. Fuck that. Oh, I was just making sure shit was still recording. I'm gonna do this shit again. It's gonna be better. The voiceover gonna be better. Shit. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna keep doing this or not. But yeah, I'll get this one. Shadow. Where's the shit? Now that I'm watching this, I think I forgot to do something, but I ain't gonna say nothing. I'm gonna see if motherfuckers can. If you see what I forgot to do, yeah, say that shit in the comments or something. And I ain't tripping about that arm connecting over on the right side because I'm gonna put that arm band over it later. Did I forget to do that shit? I don't know. I think I did. Arm's done. Definitely forgot it. It's hella small though, so like ain't nobody gonna notice it, but I notice it. I forgot to nah, I ain't even gonna say this shit yet. Get all that shit out the way so I can do the did I do Jersey next? Yeah, Jersey next. And I think this shit probably took what like 2.5 hours. And like for real, the best thing to do is like just think of the layers and shit. Not the layers for real, because it's all on the same layer, but the order that you drawing shit in, so that it's already like in the right, order, and you don't have to rearrange shit. But I mean, you can still always go back and fix that shit. Like the arms, like the right arm and the left arm is on different layers. Because one of them is behind the jersey, one in front. Stroke, we should do the stroke right on that. This one shit start coming together for real, and everything makes sense. And I go back and put like, because you can't really see the beat, but it just didn't sit right with me that not having nothing there, so I just put like some lines. You'll see it in a minute. Coloring everything in. So right here we go. Just put something so you can tell that a beat's supposed to be that shit. You got the NBA logo, go through that on there. I have to put that shading behind that white, and then I have to overlap it so you can cover it and shit. So it don't all be, make it more realistic and shit. I had to go do it on the layers. You can barely tell, but when you're doing this shit, that should be good. We got a face and the shoes left. I guess I'll tell you what I forgot. I drew the fingernails, but I didn't make them. I didn't make the stroke on them black, so you can't even see them. But I'm gonna go back. Like after I make this video, I'm gonna go back and fix that shit. Cause I forgot to put my signature on this motherfucker too. Yeah. And then when you do the hair, you leave like the little faded part out so you can put a gradient and that shit'll flow good into the rest of the hair. Coloring that shit. It was one point like where the eyes are. You can't see his eyes at all in the picture. I was gonna try to put some eyes on there, but it looked better without them. You'll see it in a minute. Get that right. And I was doing this shit on the wrong layer. So I had to, I mean, it was cool. It ain't really fucking me up that much. I just had to copy everything and save it and put it on the right layer. Get the gradient right. This right here, I started trying to put the eyes and shit because it just felt weird without them, but you cannot see that nigga eyes. Like, and I put that shit on the wrong layer too. But yeah, I was just like, yeah, fuck that shit. It looked better without the eyes. I'm just sitting there looking at this shit like, man, I don't like this. Like, yeah, let's get that shit the fuck out of there. Cut right. Okay. Inside of the mouth and shit. Well, yeah, we on the shoes now. We almost wrapping this shit up. This hell is easy. Shoes is easy. The shoestrings is kind of a right now. You do that, and then you do use the pathfinder and shit to cut them holes out of the shoestrings. If you know what I mean. Oh, oh, oh. And you can see on this one how half of the shoe is like darker than the other half. Just do that shit. These shoe strings kind of fucking with me too a little bit. Because I did this part and I was trying to do the pathfinder to cut the holes in them. And that shit kept giving me an error, like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know why. So I just copied that shit and pasted it back on there and it didn't work. Shit was stupid. Play that gradient, boom. You got that on point. Boom. Now we done. Make the ball the right size. Now it's just time for the background. This is just whatever the fuck niggas want to do at this point, you know what I'm saying? I'll start playing with some gradients and shit. And then like midway, I was just like, I'm gonna make this shit like the sky. Awareness. After I put these words, I'm like, all right, I know what I'm gonna do. Right, put the sky gradient. And then I went to Clip Art Max to get a cloud. Send that shit backwards. Boom, boom, boom. They do a clipping mask so you don't have no layover, no overlapping or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And it's done in this bitch.